Legal disclaimer. For legal reasons, and in the interests of my personal safety, I'm obliged to inform you that this video is for entertainment, parody and comedy purposes only. We make plans and God laughs. I originally had this weekly news dump half finished when I posted last week's episode, but events required me to go back to the Acme drawing board and start over. So this is a bit more chaotic than normal, and it's normally pretty fucking chaotic. Anyway, I had to get this finished because a box of puppies was being ransomed. So here goes. Two conflicting themes have emerged this week. We're now entering a new era of player inclusivity, increased feedback, and involvement in the development process. And every single day closer to the ETF we get, I hear this mantra more frequently. Oddly though, simultaneously I've noticed that the amount of forum topics being locked or edited by moderators, threads buried in obscure subforums, and players chat banned has hit a level of frequency that I can't avoid commenting on. And on a few occasions, couldn't comment on it because the thread was already locked. I have to bring it up because from the perspective of quite a few players, it kind of feels like we're hearing one message of peace and democracy over the loudspeakers whilst the troops are ethnically cleansing the neighbourhood behind us. I've generally found the division to be very respectful about freedom of speech, and I accept that a certain degree of policing is always to be expected. So as a rule, I generally try and avoid using the C word. The C word I'm talking about is censorship, not cunt. I love saying cunt, and I use it with increasing frequency, primarily because I know it's a word that makes some people wince, even though it's just a word. And Woody Allen even used it in a movie. And if Woody Allen does it, it must be okay. Okay, bad example, he fucked his own stepdaughter, but I'm sure you get the general principle here. So the question today is, what rabbits will I be pulling out of my magical bag of fuckery? And more importantly, will I just dispense with the bag altogether and grab you by the scruffs and drag you down the rabbit hole with me? Well, Reflection Studios are bulk buying packets of haloperidol and rohypnol in preparation of the arrival of Test Subject Group 3, Elite Task Force Charlie. Patch 1.6.1 is being released probably May 23rd, the day the ETF starts. The community managers appear to be turning the game into the Democratic People's Republic of the Division and having a Stalin-esque purge of the forums. And let's face it, News Dump would be negligent in its duties if it did not at least mention Twitchgate. Matt Shotcher's encounter with a bunch of lawless outlaws in the Dark Zone. After much relentless ganking, Matt decided to abandon his strategy of situational awareness and go full Kim Jun Shotcher on them and rolled out the nuclear option. But first, let's take a look at the microscopic Yannick and Hamish show. I've never been convinced that webcams and toilet cubicles are a good mix. I tend to avoid any activity that's rewarded with 2 to 6 years in prison. I guess that also now includes shooting community managers in the Dark Zone. Anyway, apparently Yannick and Hamish don't share my reservations, so if you ever wondered what the shithouse looks like where Yannick and Hamish work, here's your chance. The Democratic People's Republic of the Division presents The State of the Game.
I know that we're in a random other part of the, well...
Just have very big faces today.
It seems that there are some network permissions. It is always important for us to do this.
Can you say like that for the whole thing?
Yeah, I'm going to.
All right. Small notes.
I'm well aware this isn't the ideal setup.
No.
So
fixes, finalizing the build. It's going to be finalized, final QC tests. Because builds do that, probably.
Sure. So
yeah.
This is going to be a short one. Talking about the ETF.
Inviting 12 people. Check your junks.
What was I going to say? Check your junk list. Obviously, it doesn't include everyone.
Contrary to what people might think, we have more than 12 players in the game, so...
Success. Yes, we're doing it. Oh, the Dark Zone server that came out on Monday.
Yep.
Some interesting things starting to flood in from that.
We want to know everything that you think about the Dark Zone.
But it's really interesting, I think, to see the reality compared to what we might think. We did say this would be a short stream, and it definitely will be.
We want to give more visibility to what we're doing and what we're talking about during the ETF. So we are looking at doing things like putting surveys out there, also when we're doing ETF discussion. Daily updates on what we've been discussing.
Exactly.
If we were to live stream it, there are things we wouldn't be able to say in a stream.
ETF3 will have more communication from us. Expectation management.
One other thing regarding the ETF, we're also looking at involving the previous ETF members in the discussion. So
we are here to listen, mostly. For about 12 minutes. Anyway, that's it.
See you guys.
Bye, everyone. Have a good one.
Well, that was interesting, and by interesting I mean short and the studio is broken. I could take a cheap shot at the fact they can't get their webcam working, but I'm going to be the better man and rise above it. Let's face it, IT problems can strike any one of us down. Even a multi-billion-dollar tech business involved in multimedia entertainment, specialising in video games, owning subsidiary companies in every major country in the world, but still apparently doesn't have an IT guy. And everyone needs to check their junk, even though I barely stop touching mine ever. I even wear boxing gloves at night, for fuck's sake. And ETF Charlie is nearly upon us. So, what are some of the hot issues that are not controversial and everyone seems to universally want, post about and spam Twitch chat about? Well, there's cheating and anti-cheat. I see this issue mentioned in nearly every fucking official stream, on comments on YouTube, repeatedly brought up on the forums, and I bang on about it as relentlessly as a fucking 6-year-old at the zoo demands ice cream. Yet nearly 15 months into the game, fuck all has been done about it. The other night on Matt Shotcher's stream, the one where Terry Spear was effusing so many compliments to Matt I was bracing myself in case they man-kissed, as always, there were questions about cheating and anti-cheat. And to my shock and fucking horror, it got answered for once. Credit to Matt for responding to the question mentioning BattleEye and anti-cheat, because it has become infuriating how staff are stoically not responding to Twitch stream comments about the woeful state of anti-cheat in the game. Time and time again, I watch State of the Game where people bang on about it, and it is ignored. So pat on the back for Matt for not dodging the issue. He responded by saying that some anti-cheat doesn't work well with this game engine, but he's going to try and get some info on the issue. But let's recap. 14 months into the Division, the game is plagued by its legacy of being a world leader in hacking and cheating. There is no fucking anti-cheat, and people are relentlessly raising this issue in every communication channel that exists. And when a community manager does finally respond to a direct question about it, he doesn't have an answer on hand. Fair play to Matt for responding, and it's the best answer I've seen in months, as pitiful as it was. Sorry. But if you just spent the last 14 months running a fucking Ebola clinic and someone came up and asked you about getting bleach and paper towels, people would expect this to be a hot topic and for you to be an authority on cleaning up blood and shit. If a community manager doesn't have a straight answer about anti-cheat after the community crying about it like fucking bitches since the start of the game, that's beyond strange. That is a briefed response right there. Here is what I think is probably happening. They aggregate the number of complaints associated with a player name, so if lots of people complain about you, you might get a 48-hour ban. Perhaps not even that. There's no science to it, and maybe even this isn't happening. If they only let you upload a file the size of a screen grab, clearly Evidence is not an issue here, and they don't even want to see any evidence. Another question for the ETF is weapon balancing. Why are most guns just fucking terrible? Why are most guns just vendor trash? The Division has the most wonderful array of well-crafted gun pornography I've ever seen in a video game. It's truly one of the most amazing aspects of the entire game. But the problem is that at any one time, there are a few guns right at the apex of the pyramid, and everything else is just fucking dumpster filler. There's no overlap. Certain gun archetypes are head and shoulders above the rest. If you want a shotgun, you get a sausage. If you want an assault rifle, you get an M4 variant. There's very little thinking involved. Most guns are balanced to be vastly inferior. Here's an example. 2 guns drop. Gun 1 fires 150 fucking rounds a minute more than the other one, with about the same damage. I'm not even going to talk about gun 2, because you already fucking sold it whilst I was talking. If you are gear item level 256, certain guns are instantly vendored or deconstructed because they are balanced to fucking shit. The fact that there are guns you shit can without even looking at the stats makes a better case than anything I can say. Whilst you're up in Newcastle, please try and mention the netcode chicken dance exploit before the roofies kick in and you slide off your bar stool unconscious. For those of you who don't know why so many players in PvP strafe and jiggle around like someone is squirting chili sauce down their penises. Peni. Who cares what the plural is? I'll worry about it when I mutate and grow a second dick. The point is, they do it because it balks the netcode. The game engine can't work out where they are, so however good your aim is, you will almost certainly miss most of the time. I'm not judging anyone who does it. Frankly, if jiggling your controls makes you a fucking immortal, that's the developer's problem for fuck's sake, and people will do it. The point is, and no room for discussion, it has to be fucking fixed. I always naively thought that when designing a game engine for player versus player combat, the item being able to calculate where the fucking players are would have at least squeezed into the list of top 50 things not to fuck up. Christ, some really demanding players are claiming it's the most important thing not to fuck up. Actually, now I come to think of it, World of Tanks might not be as successful if you couldn't hit the other tanks. Battlefield might not be as good if you couldn't hit the other players. There's a theme developing here, and that theme is, in a player versus fucking player game, being able to hit the enemy player is actually quite important. Go figure. We should really consider fixing that. My final comment about Elite Task Force Charlie is simply this. All the people I know who are going are intelligent, smart individuals, probably vastly more so than me, and I'm sure they are shrewd enough that I don't need to say this, but I will anyways. Be wary about being sucked into their problems. Don't get seduced into accepting Ubisoft's problems as justification in itself that a problem can't be fixed. If they say they can't fix the chicken dance exploit because it's so deeply embedded in the netcode, don't accept that. Deeply embedded means it costs more than $1 to fix. It needs to be fixed. Get them to fix it. If they say they can't implement robust anti-cheat because there's no easy off-the-shelf solution, don't accept that. No off-the-shelf solution means it costs more than $1 to fix. Ask them to fix it anyway, even if there isn't an easy fix. Let's do this not because it is easy, but because it is hard. Thanks, JFK. Just dear fucking lord, guys, don't come back from the ETF mumbling stuff about seasons and feats and loadouts, then start making excuses about nothing being done about anti-cheat, the chicken dance, and new gear sets. I will literally be counting how many times you say exciting and unsustainable after you come back. You are smart guys. Do us proud and good luck. Oh yeah, And don't drink from any fucking container you didn't open yourself. And if they offer you free vitamin injections, it's probably haloperidol. And I put in a link below on how to make yourself a tinfoil beanie hat to protect yourself from mind control rays. One event last week that most people would have heard about is Twitchgate. Matt Shotcher was doing a Twitch stream in the DZ and got ganked and camped senseless by Sir Grumpsalot and his band of merry men. And things escalated rapidly. With all the backstory, history, 25 pages of forum thread and 2 hours of stream, I can't do this justice. So here is the quick version. Besides, it's the outcome that's important here, because it happens against the background of the forum clampdown. Matt Shotcher is one of the most beloved, popular, sympathetic community managers in the business. He has a reputation for being reasonable, fair and committed to the game. He has an army of loyal fans, and from watching Twitch chat, many consider him to be the Han Solo of the division. Some people, well, they say Matt's also a bit of a company man. So Grumpsalot is an ex-ETF member gone rogue. He's a very controversial and outspoken player. He is extremely passionate about the game, sometimes to a fault. Safe to say though, he feels that development decisions are primarily motivated by financial expediency, and that lots of sound warnings and advice are being repeatedly ignored, and specifically Deadeye is imbalanced. The phrase, "one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist," was invented to describe Grumpsalot. The Dark Zone is a violent, lawless, backstabbing PvP shithole, where players are rewarded, nay encouraged, to ruthlessly gang up on and gun down anyone they want, just because they fucking feel like it. You can stand at a checkpoint and mercilessly gun down anyone that walks out the door, over and over, and you will be rewarded for that with monies and rank increase. Also, the person being ganked will be punished by the game for being killed. You have voice proximity comms and a chat channel, so you can talk shit to people whilst doing it, within the bounds of reasonable language as specified in the end user license agreement. This is the core design philosophy of the Dark Zone. I'm not going to take any sides here, so here is what I think is factually correct. You can go and read the forums, watch the stream and decide how to interpret them yourselves. Well, Matt is doing his Twitch stream and gets ambushed by Grumpsalot and his crew. A gankfest ensued, as befits the Dark Zone, and they camped his DZ entrance. There were many jokes made about things like Deadeye not being balanced. There were some claims by Matt that situational awareness trumps Deadeye. There was tons more ganking, and some lolling at the situational awareness comment. There was no hurling of abuse, no stalking from server to server, no violation of chat rules as far as I could see. Just a shit ton of ganking, camping and piss taking about Deadeye. Annoying for Matt? Fuck, definitely. Crimes punishable by death? Well, I certainly didn't see anything above the level of piss taking. When Matt Shotcher moved to another server, Grumpsalot and his crew didn't follow, so it's not stream sniping. Feel free to look it up. And most importantly, by normal DZ standards, this was all pretty tame stuff. People have shouted things at me so foul in the DZ that I can't even repeat them in one of my videos. Yeah, let that fucking sink in, ladies and gentle cunts. People have said things to me in the DZ unfit for a weekly news dump. But I didn't hear any of those guys talking like that on the stream. It was all rather civil jibing and ribbing by typical Dark Zone standards. So what was the aftermath? A very public show has been made of dishing out lots of life bans from the Division Twitch for being involved or just being in the vicinity of the ganking. Lots of accusations were thrown around about Twitch sniping and trolling. Some people got banned just for making a single situational awareness joke. Some enigmatic email got sent to Grumpsalot, content unknown. There was a huge discussion on the forums, which Matt Shotcher shut down by locking it. Then someone called Grumpsalot out for a squad v squad duel. And surprise, fucking prize, that thread got added to the ever-growing list of fun, amusing threads getting locked this week. Maybe Grumpsalot is a hero, maybe he's a villain. He would probably enjoy being called a villain. And he definitely seems a little bit more Boba Fett than Han Solo. But my point is that freedom of speech means listening to people you don't agree with. I've had communications with both Matt and Grumps a lot, and they're both intelligent, articulate individuals with very engaging opinions. I hope they sort out their beef amicably when the dust settles. So what's my conclusion on all of this? If the entire player community infrastructure exists as a publicity management mechanism, then all of the events of the last week make perfect sense, including the forum shenanigans. If the entire player community infrastructure exists for the benefit of the players, then the last week's events make no sense at all. One outcome of these events is that we need some clarification of how many times the player base are allowed to kill community managers in the DZ. Clearly, I don't kill anyone, but I'm speaking hypothetically here. Once is apparently fine. 10 times gets you Twitch banned. So which number in the middle is the limit? 3 or 5? If I mention Deadeye, will I get a ban? If I mention situational awareness while shooting at a community manager, will I get a ban? I feel Matt's pain. It must have been as annoying as fuck, but all I'm saying is that a rather public show was made of dishing out the live bans and putting on a show of force, and this is happening against the backdrop of some kind of cleansing wave on the forums. When we watch a Twitch stream, we think we see the player feedback from the community. What we actually see is the feedback from the engaged players who are not banned from Twitch chat. When we read the Division forums, we think we're reading player feedback from the community based on popularity. What we are actually seeing is the most popular posts made by players who haven't been banned, whose posts have not been sidelined into obscure sub-forums or locked so that they quickly disappear due to low view count and vanish out of sight. So let's just say this. I'm starting to get the feeling you get just before a VIP visits your town. All the streets are cleared of cars, the cops move in, everything is secured before the motorcade arrives. It's feeling a bit like the rhetoric of the elite task force is being undermined by the current escalating levels of control freakery. I'll let you decide if this is one big coincidence or not. But if you decide to discuss your ideas on the forums, then type like a fucking concert pianist before it gets locked or moved. Lastly, we have to accept that some people need to be banned and some threads need to be censored. I accept this principle wholeheartedly. I just think there's a lot of it going on at the moment, and I can't put my hand on my heart and say it's all quite as justified, innocent and coincidental as some people are making out. If ETF Charlie is genuinely supposed to be all about a new era of player corporate communication, you seriously need to stop shooting the villagers before the big town hall meeting. I'm just throwing that out there, guys. There are some very mixed signals being received by the community at the moment. And whether you agree with their points or not, surely driving people out of comms channels is only going to end up with more disengaged and disgruntled players. If you take nothing away from this discussion, just remember that if you see a community manager in the dark zone, immediately throw your gun on the ground, kneel down, facing the nearest wall, and politely wait to be shot in the back of the head. Respawn and quickly move to another server. And for fuck's sake, don't mention Deadeye or situational awareness. Just die and then run away. Well, vendor reset time is upon us again, and as usual, it's like someone tossing a gold coin into a fucking sewer and saying, you can keep the coin, but only if you find it and pick it up with your mouth. You know there's one valuable thing down there somewhere, but you can't really stomach diving in face first to rummage around in this shit to find it. Well, kind ladies and gentle cunts, allow me to do it for you. Here is the vendor resets. The hub vendor. I fucking swear that one day I'm going to turn up here and he's just going to be standing there lazily wanking one out in front of everyone with spittle dripping out of the corner of his mouth. Can the developers either give him something useful to do or give him something entertaining to do? Either one, I don't care. I have zero fucks left to give. But him just standing there with that lobotomized, gormless fucking grin on his face is really starting to get on my tits. The special equipment vendor. Why buy shit like the pecan? It's so much easier to just go out and spend a whole day completing your weekly missions so that you can get a different shit-rolled pecan instead. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Why is the shit sold here also in the loot tables, for fuck's sake? That is just taking the piss. It's the usual bunch of jumble sale crapola and some stocking filler set items for anyone missing a fucking shoe. Oh, and by the way, do pay special attention to the Cassidy in here. And make sure you don't fucking buy it. You should be getting all of the 256 recipes in order of importance whenever you can. The priority purchases today are the MP7 Blueprint, the absolute best SMG in the game. That's actually not a fucking SMG at all. It's a fucking personal defense weapon. Buy this, make a bunch, go have some fun before someone complains on the forums and it gets nerfed. Definitely grab yourself the surplus SVD Blueprint so you can finish your Deadeye build. Just make sure you don't hit any community staff with it. I've been offered money to shoot that fucking dog. Advanced Weapon Vendor. They've got a not shitty AUG 3P. I'm not certain anyone will be writing any songs about it anytime soon, but it's not total shite. There's a decent extended mag, capacity, crit damage, rate of fire. The Base of Operations Weapon Vendor. Okay, this sausage is pretty decent and can just about be spun into either a PvP or PvE weapon depending on what talents you decide to keep. Mind you, the vendor has got a face like a swollen bollock. The Base of Operations Gear Vendor has a fucking awesome performance mod with 7.5% Seeker Mind damage radius. Slap 4 of these puppies on, squad up with 3 other guys using a one-shot Seeker build, and convince the entire enemy team in Last Stand to quit the fucking game and take up Tetris. A strange, creepy cinema. I've never been down here before, and now I know why I won't be coming back. The Appearance Vendor. Fucking hell, wonders never cease. A shitty hat and some shitty gun camo. But it's still free shitty. And I like free shit. The Base of Operations Dark Zone Gear Vendor. Nothing. But I'm getting creeped out by the fact that so many NPCs look exactly like clones of the masturbating hub vendor. The Wolves Den. Is this some kind of weird fairground stall where you throw darts at the pictures and if you hit someone in the face, you get to keep their personal effects? I'm probably going to hell for cracking that joke, but if you laughed, you're coming with me. Autumn's Hope, a functional tenacious mask with shit firearms roll. Personally, I'd rather wrap my underpants around my face than wear this. Dante's Run, a stamina mod with skill power. Might be useful for tweaking that one-shot Seeker build that everyone complains about, but everybody secretly builds when nobody is looking. Kerman Station. Hey Depressed Joe, I'll give you the normal lap dance for $50, $100 with touching, but we'll call it $30 if you just want to cuddle and have a talk. The Cavern. A specialised backpack. Not too shabby actually. Camp Hudson's Weapon Vendor. Considering an ACR is basically a high quality M4 hybrid with superior performance, how come this gun is such a bag of fuck? Ah yeah, because they hired a druid priest and not a weaponsmith to balance the guns. Roger that. Camp Hudson's Gear Vendor. Performance mods with +2 critical hit damage. It's patch 1.6. There must be a ton of fucking builds that can abuse these mods. Meat Locker. Take what you need. Well, I'll take that guitar and use it as a fucking club because it's better than the fucking guns sold here. Madison Stand. A shit electronics mod and a metal bucket.
That's gear for the streets right here.
Last call. Look buddy, you've been chatting up that buddy rabbit for over a year now. If you haven't fucked her by now, it's never going to happen. Go and try your luck with some of the other animals chilling at the fireplace. I've heard the rabbit over there is really dirty. The Ward. What is this place for? Is this some post-apocalyptical Christmas decoration storage depot? I can't think what else it does. Southpaw. This shithole wins the least fucky gear selection of the week award. It's got a decent technical bag, one-shot Seeker Mine, and a stamina and skill haste mod. The Grindhouse. Fucking changed the film for Christ's sakes. Biggest grossing original IP Ubisoft ever had, and they only licensed a 1-minute loop from a 1930s black and white film. Cheap as fuck. The Firewall. Reckless chest. And if we can get those computers working, a lifetime supply of free midget porn. I'll get the screwdriver. The Crypt. I have no fucking clue who taught these kids kung fu, but I think they should ask for their money back. Oh, and there's a reasonable tactical sausage here. West 46th Street, DZ checkpoint. There's a decent M700 tactical. Deadly is fucking perfect for Deadeye. Elevated is okay. Personally, I don't think 120 centimetres of bullet drop accelerates the bullet like a fucking railgun, and I don't like standing on top of a fucking car to shoot, but I guess the druid priest knows best, right? Commanding has to go. Shame the second talent isn't better, but this is still pretty damn good. East 31st Street DZ checkpoint. A shit vigorous chest. Get it so when your squad healer asks you to put one on, you can stop saying, I haven't got one. East 34th Street DZ checkpoint. An AK-47 with responsive and prepared. That made me chuckle. Most of the things you shoot will be between 10 and 30 metres away. So with this gun, you basically guarantee you don't do optimal damage nearly all the time. It's brilliant. East 40th Street DZ checkpoint. A tactical sausage with adept. Well, it wouldn't be a vendor reset without weapons with adept. If that vendor reset was tedious and unproductive for you, I can only say it was twice as depressing for me. I guess the big issue for me this week is what will come out of the ETF. If basic things that everyone is screaming for, like fixing the netcode to end the chicken dance exploit and robust anti-cheat are introduced, that will go a long way towards making people feel like the community is being listened to. If all we get is fluff, well, you can make your own minds up. Special thanks this week goes to 616, my intel guy. Thank you for keeping me in the loop, buddy. Grats to McCracken for his legendary adventures. Sorry about the pecan, mate. Vlammenzee, the Leonardo da Vinci of the Division. 11 Fingers from Reddit. Necronphobos, one of the original and best. Mike McCullen, journalist, and my go-to guy for spelling diarrhea. Madcap, who has a wolf avatar. I like wolves. Snowball, good luck to you and your squad, dude. Congratulations, Joker from Reddit, and Drew Tortorella for constantly shouting out about the channel, and especially for not eating all the puppies. And I stress the word all. Lastly, let's wish Gabe, community manager, good luck in the future, as he is moving on to a new job in Ubisoft on the 24th. He's done sterling work for the community this year, put up with all our shit, and I strongly advise anyone who knows him to go and say their farewells on his forum post. I just wouldn't hang around because it's probably going to get locked or moved any second. Come on, lighten up, I'm just kidding. Go and bid him farewell, I'm sure he would appreciate it. Good luck, Gabe. Well, as long as I'm not put under house arrest, banned, censored, or executed with a 40mm anti-aircraft machine gun, I guess I'll be seeing you all again next week. By the way, do you reckon everyone got their hint about getting some robust anti-cheat sorted out and fixing the chicken dance exploit? Maybe I was a little too subtle. Oh well, good luck, and happy hunting.